On Swift Shifter, facts speak louder than slogans. Activism isn't just about catchy signs or shouting in crowds. It's about moving the needle where it counts, at the ballot box. Ever wonder what really gets people to show up and vote? Stick around as we separate myth from motivation and unpack how activism transforms voter engagement and maybe democracy itself. A single voice, clear and resonant, echoes through the cavernous halls of American culture. Taylor Swift, pop phenomenon, lyrical mastermind, and, in a dramatic turn that few saw coming, a quietly formidable force in voter engagement and activism. Consider 2018, a turning point not just for Swift's career, but for her public persona. Underneath the dazzling lights of her Reputation tour, she pens an Instagram post that would send political shockwaves across the United States. In less than 24 hours, Vote.org reported an astronomical surge, over 65,000 new voter registrations. Years of silence preceded that moment. For most of her career, Swift stood at a carefully watched distance from controversy, shrouded in neutrality so thick it became its own mystery. But as the political climate intensified, she found herself unable to ignore what she perceived as injustice festering in her home state of Tennessee. It's easy to underestimate the impact of one celebrity's voice. But after Swift's post criticizing specific Tennessee politicians and endorsing 2 Democratic candidates in 2018, there was a documented 2,144% increase in youth voter registration nationwide compared to the previous day. Swift's journey into activism wasn't born out of a single event, but forged by years of personal and professional tumult. The humiliation she endured at the hands of cultural gatekeepers, the erasure of her creative control during tumultuous label negotiations, these moments laid bare for her the consequences of silence and the price of overlooking power dynamics. Few know how meticulously Swift studies data on gerrymandering and voting rights suppression. In rare interviews, she reveals an obsession with maps, colored precincts sprawled over Tennessee counties, statistics penciled into margins. She understands not just the spectacle of politics, but its granular machinery. In Miss Americana, a documentary as vulnerable as it is sharply strategic, cameras capture Swift wrestling with advisors who urge her to stay silent on politics. The tension is palpable. Ultimately, she refuses to be muzzled again, declaring that fearing backlash can no longer outweigh doing what's right for a country she loves. The numbers are staggering. Following Swift's endorsement statements leading up to the 2020 elections, Vote.org credits her with inspiring over 160,000 new registrations in just 24 hours, a rarefied influence supported by site traffic data and registration tallies that spiked each time she spoke. She doesn't simply tell her fans to vote, she guides them through the process step by step. Her Instagram stories have become crash courses in absentee ballots, deadlines for early voting, and links to nonpartisan resources, a digital lifeline for millions navigating complex electoral systems. A lesser-known fact, Swift has quietly funded local grassroots organizations focused on fighting voter suppression in states where incidents were underreported by national media. She donates anonymously at times, channeling resources into regions overlooked by larger campaigns. Through coded lyrics and subtle imagery, like snake motifs turned into symbols of resilience, Swift transforms personal narratives into commentaries about ownership, voice, and being counted, metaphors that cleverly echo the stakes in every election cycle. There's deep intentionality behind her activism timeline. She times posts with key voter registration deadlines and primaries, not just national elections, maximizing impact when turnout matters most for local issues that rarely make headlines. Perhaps most surprising, Taylor Swift once pursued correspondence with Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg about protecting voting rights. A private exchange eventually made public through Ginsburg's own memoir drafts discovered after her death. Every movement has its critics, but even seasoned political strategists acknowledge that Swift taps into a demographic both coveted and elusive: young women aged 18 to 24. Her efforts are studied as a textbook model for micro-targeted engagement in modern civics classrooms. Thanks for watching Swift Shifter. Hit like and subscribe for more Taylor trivia you won't want to miss.